Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Kuntum Ummah from Natural Science Education major, Class A. In this moment, I want to talk about genetic disorder known as albinism. In this video, we're gonna talk about what definition of albinism, what causes albinism, what symptoms of albinism, and how much the subtypes of albinism, and what treatment that people with albinism need. We're gonna start with the first slide, and we'll define what is albinism.
What is albinism? Albinism is a rare group of genetic disorder that cause the hair, skin, and eye have little or no color. That's why people with albinism look a little different from other members of their family that didn't have albinism. They have very fair skin, which is prone to sunburn, and their hair is white or a very light color, and they may squint a lot as their eyes are sensitive to sunlight. They also associate with vision problems.
Next is what causes albinism. There's a genetic mutation that affects the production of a pigment called melanin. A defect in one of several genes that produce or distribute melanin may result in the absence of melanin production or a reduced amount of melanin production that causes albinism. Melanin is produced by cells called melanocytes, which are found in your skin, hair, and eye. But people with albinism have reduced melanin and they're gonna have hypopigmentation, so that means they're gonna have reduced melanin in their iris and retina of the eyes or in a very light colored eyes. And there's gonna be a reduced melanin production in the skin and hair, so they're gonna have hypopigmentation there too. So the skin will be very fair and the hair will be very fair as well too. Next, we'll move to symptoms of albinism. The first symptoms is absence of color in the hair, skin, or iris of the eye. This is because they didn't have enough melanin in their body that should color the hair, skin, or iris. The second symptoms is they have lighter than normal skin and hair. It's kind of same with the first one symptoms. The third symptoms is people with albinism usually have crossed eyes or called strabismus or heterotropia, nystagmus or rapid eye movement, and vision problems or functional blindness. The visual problems of albinos have been traced to the fact that their optic nerve fibers do not cross properly in the brain, and many end up connected to the wrong side of the brain. The optic tract abnormalities apparently result from a lack of pigment in crucial nerve cells during fetal development. The last symptoms is photophobia or light sensitivity. The melanin pigment absorbs dry light and protects our eyes and skin from ultraviolet light. This pigment coats most of internal layer of the eye, allowing light to enter only through the pupil, and the pigment in the retina normally absorbs dry light. Failure of the eye to development pigmentation in albinism results in extreme light sensitivity. Thus, the patient may not only have too much light entering the eye, but also have no way to handle excess dry light once in the eye. And the last symptoms is have patches of skin that have an absence of color. Okay, now we gotta talk about the subtypes of albinism. The first one is oculocutaneous albinism or OCA that divided into four. The first one, OCA1, is due to a defect in the tyrosinase enzyme. There are two subtypes of OCA1. The first one is OCA1A, that is, people with this subtype albinism have complete absence of melanin. People with this subtype have white hair, very pale skin, and light eyes. The second one is OCA1B. People in this subtype produce some melanin, and they have light-colored skin, hair, and eyes. Their coloring may increase as they aging. The second subtypes of OCA is OCA2, that is less severe than OCA1. It's due to a defect in the OCA2 gene that results in reduced melanin production. People with OCA2 are born with light coloring and skin. The hair may be yellow, blonde, or light brown. OCA2 is most common in people of African descent and Native Americans. The third type of OCA is OCI3. OCI3 is defect in TYRP1 gene. It usually affects people with dark skin, particularly black South Africans. People with OCI3 have reddish-brown skin, reddish hair, and hazel or brown eyes. The next types of OCA is OCA4. OCA4 is due to a defect in the SLC54A2 protein. It results in a minimal production of melanin and commonly appears in people of East Asian descent. People with OCA4 have symptoms similar to those in people with OCA2. The second subtype of albinism is ocular albinism. Ocular albinism is the result of a gene mutation on the X chromosome and occurs almost exclusively in males. This type of albinism only affects the eyes. People with this type have normal hair, skin, and eye coloring, but have no coloring in the retina. The third subtype is called Chediak-Haga syndrome. Chediak-Haga syndrome is another rare form of albinism that's the result of a defect in the LYSD gene. It produces symptoms similar to OCA, but may not affect all areas of the skin. The hair is usually brown or blonde with a silvery sheen. The skin is usually creamy white to grayish. People with this syndrome have a defect in the white blood cells, increasing the risk of infection. And the last one is called Griscelli syndrome. Griscelli syndrome is an extremely rare genetic disorder. It's due to a defect in one of three genes. There only have been 16 known cases of this syndrome worldwide since 1978. It occurs with albinism, but may not affect the entire body, immune problems, neurological problems. The syndrome usually results in death within the first decade of life. Finally, we reached the last point in our presentation. Now, we're gonna talk about the treatment that people with albinism need. Actually, until this day, there's no cure for albinism. However, the treatments can relieve symptoms and prevent sun damage to their skin. Some of the treatments included is sunglasses to protect the eyes from sun's UV rays. The second one is protective clothing and sunscreen to protect skin from UV rays. The third one is prescription as eyeglass to correct vision problems. And the last one is surgery on eye muscle to correct abnormal eye movement. People with albinism may have to limit their outdoor activities because their skin and eyes are sensitive to the sun. UV rays from the sun can cause skin cancer and vision loss in some people with albinism. That's why they need extra protection to keep themselves safe. Since we already reached the last slide, I'm gonna finish my video here. I'm so sorry for any mistake and thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.